Jamming out. Oh, I can't fade it. Sweet.
Chris, what's up, man?
Mike, I'm great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I'm great. I'm feeling good. There's a lot going on, and we're going to have to figure it out. Welcome to the first ever live taping of the Heat Check podcast. I am your host, Chris Patrick, as always, joined by Michael Benjamin. Cody Tallman is supposed to be here, or just Tallman. I don't know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, I think he's going by just Tallman now.
Just Tallman?
Is it Tallman, or should we call him just Tallman? The way how I used to go by just Mike.
Just Tallman.
He can be just Tallman.
I like that. Well, if he was here, he could tell us, but he's not. So we got to work with what we got. So hopefully he'll join us. I don't know what he's doing, taking a nap or something, but we'll figure it out. But thank you, anyone who's joining in, tuning in right now with us, who may come in and out throughout, or who's watching back on the feedback replay. We appreciate it. Leave your comments below. Give us a like, all that good YouTube jazz. But yeah, man. So you asked me what's up, and I don't know too much. Honestly, it's a little bit of an interesting time of year as the NBA season's winding down. The Suns season obviously over. You got the Cardinals going in doing these OTAs, these voluntary workouts, different workouts, but really the actual football activities don't start up really till like August, right? Or the end of July.
Yeah, as far as kind of, the major sports within the Valley, we're in that almost like no man's land time period, right? The NBA finals are 2-2 series, but obviously the Suns aren't involved. So, everybody's real involvement and if they care at all, it just really depends how big of a basketball fan you are. I've been keeping an eye on what's been going on and seeing a little bit of minutes here and there, catching some clips and seeing the Celtics take nothing but threes for the last 8 minutes of game 4. But that's something we could completely dive into on a different podcast. But Diamondbacks are in full swing, but I don't even think we're really that close to the All-Star break yet.
I don't think so. I'm not even sure when that is. I think it's in the summer, so we actually might be getting close. The season started longer ago than you think. Yeah, July 19th is the All-Star game this year. So we're about a month out.
About a month. Yep. And then probably the other major sport, I guess, that's going on right now is WNBA, and the Mercury have been pitiful, but that's because they're missing arguably their best player, who's illegally detained in Russia right now. So, but yeah, I know today we wanted to kind of look at what's been going on with the Arizona Cardinals, with OTAs going on, new contracts, new rookies, and new version of the Arizona Cardinals that's going to be on full display for the country this coming season because of Hard Knocks and them being the chosen team to do the full season stint. I'm definitely excited about that. I feel like the Arizona Cardinals social media team has done, kind of little season episodes, just like how social media is such a big presence for all teams nowadays. So they'll have their own guys going in and filming them at practice and whatnot. But I feel like Hard Knocks is such a different thing. It's so much more introspective. You're really in front of the players all day long. They're looking for the juiciest content they can get. And I feel like last time that we really got something like that was when the Cardinals did All or Nothing in their 2015 run with Carson Palmer and David Johnson. So it's cool to see where we've grown with the new talent that we have. And obviously there's plenty of storylines that I'm sure that the people behind the scenes at HBO are already working on, just with D-Hop, his situation, Kyler Murray's extension and whatnot. So I want to get some thoughts, some opinions tonight. So I'll pass it back over to you, Chris.
Yeah, man, I'm really glad to have you here because you and Cody are the top two Cardinals fans within the three-headed dragon of the Heat Check podcast, if you will. So having that, insight and knowing the history of the team and how it's built, it's really going to be helpful. But I also like the Cardinals. I keep track of them. Obviously, born and raised here in the Valley, and I'm curious to see, like you're saying with Hard Knocks, how that incorporates into the chemistry of the team, any locker room drama, but plenty of storylines to play on. You got Hollywood Brown coming in. I saw just before the show, looking on Facebook, they're posting, they're going all in on this Hollywood Brown. He's doing like a YouTube series now. Have you seen that?
No, really.
It's like Going Hollywood or something like that. It showed in this first episode, him and Kyler Murray and a bunch of the other guys were like going through the casino for Hollywood Brown's birthday. And
I saw those photos yesterday. Kyler's got like a stack of hundreds and he's on the craps table.
Goofy. Yeah. So it just kind of shows them like gambling and going through the casino. It looked like it was probably here in the Valley, but it looks like they're just having a good time and like having all those young guys, building a culture, picking up where Larry left off. He really laid the foundation, and I'm glad he got to play, it was 1 or 2 seasons with Kyler, full seasons.
Larry? I think, dude, I really think it was just 1.
You might be right.
It seems like it's been forever since Fitz was actually on the field for the team, before he just kind of went off and did his thing, did his travels, does his volunteerism, and I know he always does a special kitchen day, or oh my gosh, I'm definitely messing it up. He'll have a big sponsored dinner for philanthropy and giving back to the communities and whatnot. And it's funny, man. So I do a little extracurricular side activity, I guess that you could say. And I ref games for the Y. And this whole last season, I was reffing games for his younger son. And he was out there mixing it up with the people, just being a normal dad like everybody else. But it's crazy to see such a big established figure like that, especially within Arizona sports, in a sporting environment like, kids basketball. And man, it's almost like he had an aura when he was out there, like family members and parents were like, oh, do you think it'd be okay if I went up to say hi to him? Or like,
he's a legend.
Get mad. It's like, he's just the most down to earth guy. And he was mixing it up with everybody, shooting baskets with the kids. And we definitely miss him. But, I'm excited to see the new weapons that have evolved with Kyler Murray, like bringing in Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz coming back for his second-year stint.
Yeah.
Obviously we're going to be missing D-Hop for those first 6 weeks, but it's time for Rondale Moore to take that sophomore year step up. And other guys like James Conner. Can he do it again?
For sure.
Can he really kind of be that powerhouse back that commands the ball and takes a lot of carries? And then we see what we can do for a second back. Maybe Benjamin gets more touches this year, and just the evolution of this offense. Because obviously, when it came down to that playoff game against Los Angeles, there was a lot of things that went wrong, but that offense towards the second half of the season seemed to get stagnant. We weren't putting up as many points as we did to start the season. I think 8-1 beginning. And, just continued growth from Kyler Murray. I know we've had plenty of comments, concerns, and, I would say that they're well-deserved at some points, but also at the same time, we also do have to respect, the success that he has had, especially at such an early stage in his career.
For sure.
Give him that opportunity to continue to grow, and hopefully we can get over the moniker of collapsing in the second half of the seasons, as we've seen kind of the past 2.5 years, I'd say. So
yeah, and that's really something I'm glad we're getting all these points and it's rolling. There's a lot of good questions within there, like I want to know, like, how much of that does fall on Cliff Kingsbury when they're coming out hot. They seem to be making the adjustments and scheming like they need to win these games and put up the points. And then somewhere around the halfway mark, 10 games in, it's just severe decline, and you're going into the third, fourth quarter with only 3 points, 7 points. And these are tough games. Like, it's really any given Sunday in this league. We see it every year. A team that shouldn't win, a team that has crazy odds. Vegas gives them odds of, minus whatever, and they go out, or, plus whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they go out and they overcome it. I also think I'm looking at this roster as we've been talking here, and it's really looking like they're leaning towards a youth movement. And I think that might explain a little bit more why they're all in on Cliff and Kyler together, because they're both young. Cliff's a young guy for a head coach. Kyler's obviously a young quarterback. So you put a bunch of young guys around him that can relate, but still have those foundational pieces like J.J. Watt and DeAndre Hopkins that can set an example. Now, how much of an example did D-Hop set by getting suspended? But if you believe what he says, it's not his fault, which, I mean, at the end of the day, the right thing, and the thing he'll even admit, is it is his fault. It's always his fault what he puts in his body. But at the same time, acknowledging that, shit happens. Oh, you got this picture here. Let me see. Add that to the stream.
Right. And,
money.
That's always like you get caught in a catch 2020, right? Because you want to support your guy and you really want to be behind him and say, you know what? Yeah, D-Hop, shit, man. It's just an unfortunate situation. You must have got told something different from your trainers, and now we're stuck in this predicament. There's not much that you can do, but hey, make sure you're training, you keep a regiment going, so by the time week 7 rolls around, you're ready to step up on the field and really get integrated. But then there's that other side where it's like, how can you be a multi-millionaire professional athlete and not have those T's crossed when it comes down to specific regimen and the items that you're putting into your body? And
right.
If it's your trainer that was misinformed, how are they your trainer? Hopefully that guy's gone now. Hopefully that's not his trainer anymore.
Honestly, yeah.
Because how could you kind of forget what items are banned substances and whatnot?
Yeah.
But, these two guys right here, man, they're the ones who are going to have to step up and carry the load for the first 6 weeks. Growing pains as always. I know they played together at Oklahoma, but the NFL is a different game. It's 100%. Big boy football. It's a lot faster. But both of these guys have shown that they're all pro caliber players. So I'm excited to see kind of where they set themselves apart from other quarterback wide receiver duos in this league. So especially with how dynamic both of them are in regards to speed. So
yeah, absolutely. They're both game changers at their respective positions. And I do think that we get that criticism a lot of, this is a college team, this is pretty boy football. You take the college coach, the college quarterback, his college buddy. But Hollywood knows what he's doing. He did good for the Ravens. The Ravens, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I should know that of all people. But yeah, so I mean, I think it all comes together. What I wanted to ask you is, with the young squad, they like the social media, they like putting together the YouTube channel. They're like the camera, like being on Twitch streams. So how much do you think HBO Hard Knocks is going to influence the culture in the locker room? Do you think they'll truly be able to just focus in and tune in every practice, every game when the cameras are there? Or do you think they're going to try and be doing extra for the cameras?
Well, I mean,
disrupting culture.
You already talked about how Hollywood Brown kind of has his, his YouTube channel that he's been working on. Do we know how long that's been going on? Maybe if you could double check and see his first video post. But Kyler Murray's been with FaZe Clan and doing his kind of e-gaming stuff for a couple years now. And just the generalized, factor of everybody's got a phone and everybody's taking videos and doing TikToks or doing little clips to go viral, man. That's just a part of everyday nature with professional athletes. So having those camera crews in, I don't think is going to really be too much different than what we already see on a day-to-day basis for these guys. Because, you have your social media teams who are there during practices, during OTAs, taking little clips so they can share onto the platforms and keep fans involved. It's, it's a 24/7 business nowadays,
Yeah.
comparative to just the newspaper clippings that we were reading every so often. So how much of a distraction could it be? I think there's going to be some guys who will get a little bit more distracted than others. Some guys who are probably a little bit more low key, don't really want to be crazy within the limelight, and
Yeah.
just want to put their head down and go to work. But then
Hmm.
there's guys, like Kyler and Hollywood Brown, where this is a part of their everyday business, man. I don't think it's going to affect them whatsoever with how they attack the game, because at this point, they're probably, I mean, they're not crazy veterans, but they've been in this league long enough to understand what it takes to be successful, and hopefully they've seen the next steps that you really need to take to get over that hump to be NFL champions,
Yeah.
specifically Kyler Murray. Um, you know, Hollywood Brown, you can't be no slouch to help a guy get an MVP as well. I know Lamar Jackson had crazy numbers and did different things, and both rushing and throwing the football, but that's something that Kyler Murray can do as well. So maybe that kind of wisdom from seeing what an MVP season looked like can, Hollywood can help out Kyler and get him over that
Yeah.
next step. But at this point, I think both of these guys and this team and this organization understands where we were just a couple of years ago with Steve Wilkes and getting the first overall pick to pick Kyler Murray, the
Hmm.
continued trajectory that we're going on, and the sour taste that has to be in your mouth after that embarrassing
Oh.
playoff performance against Los Angeles last
Hmm.
year to end your season, and the way that we've been sliding on second halves of seasons. So,
Yeah.
that mentality and that readiness, I think, is going to be there for this team.
Yeah, I think so too. And just to touch on the one point you made in there is Hollywood Brown coming from the Ravens, playing with Lamar Jackson, who won an MVP. The Ravens have an established culture, whether you like them or not. They don't fuck around. They got a good. It's still Harbaugh coaching them, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, they he's been there for as long as I can remember. So they got, hopefully, what I'm saying is I hope that he really does bring that professionalism, that true work ethic and seriousness of it to the Cardinals. And, because him and Kyler are buddies, obviously, I think they have similar work ethic. I don't think Kyler's a slouch by any means, but going back kind of to the question I was asking you, and touching on a few of those points, I do, I do get a little worried, like, because I'm looking at Marquise Brown's YouTube here, and I don't know if he might have scrubbed some stuff because this is just what I pulled up now, but it looks like he's got a workout video from 2 years ago, Florida Gator Goats, episode 7. So he wanted to save that one. So I don't know if there were more episodes. There's Offseason Vibes from a year ago. Looks like he might even be with Kyler. Nope, that's not a Cardinals jersey. Yeah, so he was still on the Ravens then. And then one day ago is when season 1, episode 1 ago in Hollywood. So is this something he was always going to do? Or is this because of, kind of riding the tails of Hard Knocks? He can plug his brand. Oh, check out my YouTube channel. And also, you see up here, check out his Twitch stream. So him and
Yeah,
Kyler are playing Warzone together or something.
right. Oh, dude, I probably wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, especially if he's not been as consistent with it. Um,
Yeah.
I wonder. I'll have to watch that video. I wonder if he uses maybe some of the Hard Knocks crew, and uses some of their clips. It's going to be a little bit higher quality. I know these guys can get the best
Right.
cameras and whatnot that money can buy, but
And hire some guys to
who
follow him
knows?
around for a couple days. Yeah. From
Maybe, yeah. Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, from what I watched of it, and I didn't watch a ton of it, but it didn't seem like a crazy production. It didn't seem like there was any crazy editing. Just a lot of raw footage with some music playing, some transitions. Which, no
Mm.
knocking that. Like that's great for what it is. But so maybe it is just something he's doing for fun for the fans, get his brand, on all these platforms, and it is truly, something innocent like that, and not riding the. But wouldn't it be smart to kind of ride the coattails of Hard Knocks for your own self promotion?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. I mean, I remember there was one guy from when the Houston Texans did it a couple years ago. He was a defensive back. I think his name was Charles James. Man, his social media took off because of how prevalent he was within that show. He definitely had a big
Mm,
personality, And that's
Right.
what Hard Knocks likes to do, right? You obviously it's showing an inside introspective on what an NFL training camp looks like, the grind that it takes, the disappointment that certain players get when they get cut, going down to that 53-man roster. But they want a couple of characters, and then they'll normally handpick some guys after they get to meet everybody. And that one guy was Charles James, and I just remember right around that time, all the social media started taking off. Now I see him playing Madden against kind of big time streamers through YouTube or just general YouTubers, Twitch streamers, whatnot. And he's kind of made that his like side hustle now after his playing career is done. It wasn't very long, but he took advantage of the situation that was presented to him. So I think you'd be dumb not to, especially if you're a younger guy who's a little bit more prevalent. You're coming to a new situation, and maybe it's more of him looking at, hey, let me give a little bit more of an inside glimpse before the cameras come on to really show what they want to show. I don't think any players really get sign off on what Hard Knocks is putting out there. Obviously, every man has sign off on what he's going to say to the camera, but you've been there where camera crews will manipulate things and show tension where it really ever wasn't, or whatnot. So I definitely want to take a look at that, and maybe he's just given more of a inside glimpse of him, who he is, and how his relationship with Kyler is established already, and get the fans kind of pumped and excited to see them on the field together.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's excited, and it's for better or worse, he's going to be thrown right into the fire week one as wide receiver one, with Hopkins being out there for a little bit. And actually, I don't know. We were talking about doing this. Let me see. Cardinals. You want to do this right now? Then we'll look at the Cardinals schedule and see, especially with these first 6 games and the suspension, what kind of impacts that's going to have, because it is a 6-game suspension for DeAndre Hopkins, right?
6 games, yeah. Let's take a look.
Word. I was trying to find this real quick because we were talking about, and I might get ridiculed. This might make me a hypocrite because I am a gamer. I like video games. I have no problem with streamers, but as we've talked about before, it rubs me a little bit the wrong way when you see these guys go out and have a poor performance on the field, and then 2 hours later they're hopping on their Twitch stream to play Call of Duty. As a fan of the NFL product, that doesn't make me more inclined to want to watch your Twitch stream when you just got blown out. Now, there might be there might be some people that love Kyler Murray, the Twitch streamer, and don't really watch his football. I mean, it's possible, I would assume. And then you hear about guys like DeAndre Ayton. I don't even know if I'd imagine he's streaming it. Again, like you kind of said, he'd be dumb not to take advantage of every type of monetization and expanding the brand. But you hear about these articles about sometimes he's not getting to bed until, all hours of the morning, only getting a couple hours of sleep, and then having to wake up at 6 to, eat his breakfast and his protein shake and get in the gym and all that. And so you're going to start to wonder on nights when he's having a poor performance, was this one of those nights he was staying up late? Go back and check the tape. Here, I'll pull this up real quick just before we switch topics.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely have seen a lot more ramblings, especially since that article came out that he did with ESPN, Ayton, in regards to his love for video games. Dude, I have no problem with video games, man. I love video games. I don't play them as much as I used to, but I understand the entertainment value that comes with it, especially if you're a big sports guy and there's some athletes that use those sports games kind of as practice. Only to a certain extent. Obviously, the game's way different than what 2K is putting out there for you, or Madden.
Yeah.
But, play your games, big fella, anybody. I understand that. But the one thing that gets kind of crazy to me is if it starts to affect a schedule for your body to really be growing as it needs to, especially as a 22-year-old, you know that your body is still growing. The amount of rest that athletes truly need. Yeah, I mean, he might be taking some naps here and there throughout the day, but you really need your, 6 hours minimum,
at least,
for your brain to reset, for your body to really recover and whatnot. And if that's getting affected, I mean, like, I don't know if I can stand behind that. And I saw a lot of people who were like, I can't believe you're going at this young kid for wanting to play video games. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit that he wants to play video games. Play all the video games that you want. But when it really starts to affect your work, it's the same way with any kind of other situation. You
100%.
have to take a step back and look at if this is the right thing to do, or I have to adjust it properly. It's as simple as that. So, and the other thing too, where you say 2 hours after the Cardinals game, Kyler Murray's already streaming. I mean, like, the game's over, right? You shake hands, you go, you shower, you strip down, you get talked to by the coach, you have to do media, whatever. And then within that time frame, he goes home and he's already on
so quick
stream.
So quick.
Well, I feel like most of these guys probably live 40, 45 minutes away from the stadium anyways. I mean, Glendale's out
in Scottsdale,
there.
Paradise Valley. Yeah.
So that's literally like one track minded where it's like, okay, stripped out, freaking in the shower for 2 minutes, change, get in front of the media, answer a couple questions, out the door, and on stream. I mean,
literally probably drops his keys, grabs a soda, and sits down to go at it. Yeah. Yeah, it is impressive. I guess you could say that shows Kyler Murray's work ethic. That when he's done with his day job, he goes and works a second job on Twitch.tv, making these. But look, I don't know if you saw this. I saw this on Reddit from Devin Booker's Snapchat or Instagram or something. Night shift with the laughing emoji. 34 kills in a game of Warzone. Now this could be Rebirth. For all those gamers out, Warzone, if you die once, you can fight it out in the gulag, but then you're done. But Rebirth, if you die and your team stays alive for a certain amount of time, you'll automatically get respawned without a gulag. So, maybe that's what it is, but still 34 kills. It looks like his team's doing really well here. I don't know if they won. It doesn't look like they won, but he's putting in the work. And so I think the caption was, let me see if I can pull it up here, because Reddit comes with the sarcasm and the snark. Yeah, can't help but think we'd be in the finals now if Book didn't take his gaming too seriously. So there's takes like that out there. So it's optics too, right? And that's where it starts to rub me the wrong way, and why I think what I'm trying to articulate is that's why I have a problem with it. It's not that Kyler Murray's on Twitch. Go for it. And yet you're right. What do I expect him to do after a game? The media, you played the game, you did the media. Your job is to go home and relax and rest and get ready to do it all tomorrow. Now, you think the people that are making the Hall of Fame are the guys like Tom Brady, who probably goes home and stays up till 1 a.m. No, probably not. He's in bed by 9 o'clock every night, but he probably goes home and watches 2 hours. He probably watches the game the second he gets home, probably takes his notes so that when he watches it again the next day, he can refer to his notes and be like, yeah, I was right there. I missed this. And, probably watches it 2-3 times. Now that's like Tom Brady's robotic. So it's not fair to, compare every quarterback to Tom Brady, but there's levels. There are guys like Vince Young where they give him a tape, tell him to watch the playbook, and it's actually just like a movie. It's like The Hangover. And they ask him did you hear about that story with Vince Young?
No.
Oh man, it's great. I gotta find. I'm gonna fuck it up a little bit, but essentially he was accused of not watching tape, and so the offensive coordinator or the quarterback's coach gave him like a disc, and it was like a burned DVD of something, just some random bullshit, like a movie or something.
Uh-huh.
And then he comes into practice the next day or the next practice, and the coach is like, oh, what did you see on the game tape? And he's like, oh, I saw my drop back. I know I saw my looks, blah, 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 bullshit. And then he's like, oh, really? Because that disc I gave you was Homeward Bound or whatever it was. Like, it was like totally busted. So it's like, that's like bottom of the barrel work ethic, where it's like you just skated by on your talent your whole life. I maybe it's not Vince Young. If it's not Vince Young, I'm sorry, but it was one of those quarterbacks from that era.
You know what?
Oh no, it was
Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell, that's right. I'm sorry, Vince Young. I'm sorry, Vince Young. Yeah, Jamarcus Russell. Similar play style. Give me that at least.
Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on Vince Young. Yes, that was Jamarcus Russell. So you heard about that. But
yeah.
But yeah, so there's like levels, right? There's guys like that. Jamarcus Russell just skated by on his talent. There's I don't want to say Kyler Murray doesn't have the most severe work ethic, but obviously he's in some contract shit, not showing up to OTAs. You think if a highly competitive guy would be chomping at the bit to do that, he's hopping on Twitch streams 2 hours after a loss, and really seems like he cares more about his personal brand than the Arizona Cardinals brand and winning a championship. But I'm rambling, but all I'm going to say is optics are everything. And in my mind, and obviously some guys on Reddit, when these guys are losing big games, choking in the playoffs, sleeping for 2 hours, being on Twitch all the time, it can kind of start to rub you the wrong way if you're not producing on the field or the court. But what do you think on that? Like, I think we've kind of talked about it, so I want to wrap it up. But do you think that it's not overall too much of a big deal for these guys, or would you agree that it's kind of a bad optic to be at certain times being on these social medias at inappropriate times?
Yeah, I mean, 2 hours after the game is odd, right? There's exactly. I think you hit it the nail on the head. I don't have any problems with guys playing games. Just certain time frames where it happens, an hour and a half after a game, I might be thinking, oh my God, did you even take a shower?
Right.
Probably smell like freaking absolute dog crap.
Just hit him with the Axe body spray a couple times, like 8th grade.
But I understand that everybody has their hobbies. Everybody has their ways to decompress.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess another thing, too, for Kyler Murray, since he is signed with FaZe Clan, I wonder if he has to do a certain amount of streams to still have the moniker to be signed within the organization and get whatever kind of check that he gets from them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and
go for it.
Just real quick to interject, not just FaZe Clan, but Twitch in general. To be a Twitch partner and get your shit on the front page, you have to stream for 20 plus hours a week and have an average. It's not much. It's average of 10 viewers every stream or something congruently,
right. But there's a minimum amount that you need to do,
yeah.
But yeah, there is times that I understand there's times in the day where you can get it done, especially for these guys. I know they have regimens, but they probably have a lot more free time than the normal average Joe who has their 9 to 5. Whereas
100%.
If they come home, they got to do their chores and their just generalized, upkeep, and then maybe we're only getting online at 9 o'clock at night, to play some games, but. I understand optics and I understand where it comes from, but I also understand that, hey, man, shit, I enjoy some gaming. I want them to do it as well. And hey, maybe that they're good at that. That means that they can have good hand-eye coordination. Exactly like D-Book's dropping 34 kills. Hey,
that's
so maybe next time that you're trying to cross up Drew Holiday, don't get the ball stripped. That was a couple of years ago, so maybe there's progress now.
That's a good spin. Maybe helps with the court vision. If he can see the sniper up in the nest, maybe he can see his open teammate.
Exactly. See the double coming early. Yeah. Get the ball out.
Yes. Okay. You
just got to find the silver linings and everything, Chris. That's what it comes down to.
You're right. Optics are overrated. That's a boomer take. Let the young kids live. So. I'll let that rest for now, but I assure you it won't be the last time I talk about it, because here we'll pull it up here. Starting week 1, when the Cardinals lose to the Kansas City Chiefs at home, and Kyler Murray's on his Twitch stream 2 hours later, I'm not going to be the happiest camper. But
no faith that early.
Little faith. That's an afternoon start, 1:25.
No, and I understand this is a home game at State Farm Stadium, but this is also a new offensive weapons that have to really get together and solidify how they're going to work together on the field. You don't have Christian Kirk anymore. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be out the first 6 weeks, so you got to figure out how you're really going to distribute the rock. And obviously, I know NFL rosters are always continuously changing. So people have to kind of figure out what their roles are going to be.
100%.
And the one thing we do know is that the Kansas City Chiefs have been a powerhouse in the NFL for the past 5 years. So you kind of know what you're going to get from them. I know they've lost Tyreek Hill, but I feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to get Travis Kelce the rock early and often. I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire will take a little bit more of a step up this year and get the running game going a little bit more. So yeah, I could definitely see this one as a loss just to start the season, because you got things you got to figure out as well. And that's why that week 2 game, I'm kind of almost in the point where that's like a crapshoot game for me as well.
Yeah.
So the reason I say that is because the Raiders are going to have another big weapon added to their arsenal with Devontae Adams, but it's
True.
going to take time for everybody to figure out. Okay, is Darren Waller going to? I know he's been the main guy. He's probably seen 15 plus targets a game. It seems like for the past 2.5 years as Derek Carr's primary offensive weapon. But how does that fit together now? You add some other key pieces to your defense. That'll be that first week one will be a feel out game for both of those teams. So then I expect a dogfight in week two. I'd like to say that the Cardinals will sneak this one out, but I don't know how you feel on that.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. It's a toss. I mean, as far as it being a toss up, just to touch back on week one real quick in the Chiefs, I do think you're right. Patrick Mahomes, he still has his weapons, right? Kelsey Hilaire is a second or third year running back. I think he could start to really come into his own, and then they just have these speedy receivers that they can air out. I expect McCole Hardman to take a big load at the receiver position. And I think they wouldn't have traded Tyreek Hill if they didn't think that he was up for the task, or at least taken on a good portion of those targets. So either way, I think the Kansas City Chiefs as a whole unit are more well established. We'll see if their defense still holds up. I know they've been kind of a question mark. People weren't too sure about them, but I think it's still a pretty solid team. I don't keep up with them, but I don't think they made a lot of changes in the offseason. So I expect that'll be a tough game. We have the benefit of being at home, but I am going to say that's, like I said, it's going to be an L there. With the Raiders, though, I could see an optimistic W if it was at home. But being at Allegiant Stadium, first road game, still kind of figuring out our offense. Our defense can carry us, but we got to put up those points. We can't be having 3 to 7 points going into the fourth quarter and the second half of the game. We got to be putting points on the board to keep up with these teams. Because like you said, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, the Raiders are no joke. As volatile as that team's been internally and with a lot of stuff that they have going on, I would still worry. So I'd say it'll probably be close. I hope it's a good game, and would love to see a win there on the road. Start the season, not 0-2, but yeah, I think pessimistically, I'm going to say that's probably a loss too. And then that's even more tough to say going into a week 3 against the defending Super Bowl champions. They retained a lot of their talent. No Odell Beckham Jr. They still got no Von Miller. So they're a little bit shaken up, but they still got Cooper Kupp, Darrell Henderson Jr. I think is his name, the running back. And Matt Stafford is still hungry to try and get another one while the iron's hot. So the Rams, that's even at home, even in State Farm Stadium for me, with all the question marks the Cardinals kind of have right now. I think we could be looking at 0-3 to start the season, Mike. What about you?
I mean, that's going to be tough. You're missing your number one option on the offense. I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, those are 3 really, really tough matchups to start the season. I know, all 3 of these teams have a little bit pieces that are moving around, but their general core are still together. And I mean, I like what the Raiders did last year, and they're showing in the playoffs. They're only going to get better from what they've added, and the Rams are Super Bowl champions, man. So.
Mm-hmm.
Look, and the other thing too, I feel like the last time that you and Cody talked about the schedule as well is, it's like, dude, we can't win at home against the Rams. They always win here.
Yeah.
If we're gonna get one on them, we're gonna sneak it in LA for some reason, no matter what. But they just have our number here.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, yeah, I could see starting off 0-3, and then. That's another team, week 4. Man, what is it about the Carolina Panthers that this team cannot freaking be successful against?
It's crazy.
They're never world beaters. They're never like a team that I'm really scared about. But fuck, dude, they just find a way to shit the bed against them, especially the past probably decade. The last time that I really remember us really putting the work to them was in 2009 when we went on that Super Bowl run, and I think in the divisional round. But last year we got our asses whooped by them.
Yeah, we were watching that game together.
Absolutely inferior team in every facet. And then I feel like the year before, or I don't know, 2 years before that, there's another guy, the guy who freaking is making his first start. Was it Kyle Allen or something like that?
John, not Josh Allen. Yeah, no.
Just guy puts on goes on a warpath and looks like an all-pro freaking quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't ever make sense, and they always seem to have our numbers. So maybe this will be a similar situation, whereas when they come here, we always lose to them. Okay, we'll go there this year, and we'll get that first win of the season.
We'll take it back.
Yeah.
That could be because when do we go to LA? Week 10. So we'll have Hop back at SoFi. And I don't know about the Rams because they've only been in LA for a little bit now, but LA fans in general have a very strong presence here, and people move here from California. You can take the LA, you can take the fan out of LA, but you can't take the LA out of the fan. And so they're, and I don't blame them. I'd move somewhere. I'd still be a Suns fan. I'd still be a Cardinals fan. But that's the problem with transplants and being a transplant market is you're going to get a lot of this. Whenever the Packers come to town, whenever the Lakers come to town, whenever the Yankees, the Cubs, you name it, any given sport, their fandom comes with them to the Valley. And they pass that down to generations. That's why I'm a Steelers fan. My whole mom's side of the family migrated out here from Pittsburgh, and I grew up being a Steelers fan because that's what the family was cheering for. Those were the jerseys I had. And then as I got older and my friends were rooting for the Cardinals, and obviously I could go to the games here, I'm going to keep up with the home team. You root for the home team. But making my point more broadly, it is tough. And so I think it's like that's why we're kind of able to – some of our teams are able to block it out a little better on away games. And maybe that's why – because the not to get off topic, but the Suns had a pretty stellar road record, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that doesn't work as well for us because the Suns do have a pretty poppin' fan base right now. But you would think for the Cardinals, they should be used to having enemies in their nest, used to the cheeseheads and these people coming in. So it's nothing new when you go on the road and you're in a loud stadium, hearing boos or seeing the other team's colors. I think that's why maybe it is more likely that we could go into LA and steal one. But to the Panthers' point, they got Sam Darnold. As long as he doesn't have mono, he's a pretty solid quarterback. I think that was a good move for them to snag him from the Jets. But it's tough because we were watching that game together. Cardinals were heavily favored, and they had just signed Cam Newton off the streets. He was on like a fashion show somewhere in Paris, and they said, "Hey, Cam, we need you on Sunday. Can you come run 3 into the end zone for us?" He had at least 2, maybe 3 in that game. I don't remember. But it was just ridiculous.
2, and then he threw another one.
And he threw one, right? Ran 2, threw 1. Yeah. So it's tough. That's some mental shit that maybe will be tough to get over in Carolina. Because I'm also looking at this schedule. Who the fuck schedule is? Oh, that's our preseason. Okay. So we kind of bounce, right? So we start at home and then go into Vegas. That's not a very far trip. That's a quick 1-hour plane ride. No problem. Piece of cake. Then we come back home. So pretty easy. But then we fly to the East Coast. And we come back home, and then we fly up north to Seattle, and we come back home, and then we fly to Minnesota. So it's a lot of hopping back and forth. Having a week apart NFL, it's a little bit different, but I just, you always worry about Cardinals and East Coast games. Even in October, right. At the beginning of October, it's gonna be nice weather, but it'll be cooling down. Whereas it'll still be in the 90s here.
Starts, man.
Yeah, and the early start. Well, at least 1:09 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. That's going to be like 4 o'clock or 4:30. That's still be an afternoon start over there. What are our primetime games? We can look at that. Thursday night, week 7.
Yeah, and I think that should be the first week back for D-Hop. So I'll say that's a win. The Saints obviously still have kind of the QB carousel and trying to figure out, okay, is it Jameis Winston? Is it Taysom Hill?
Yeah.
We'll see. but that one's at home. That place should be juiced, especially for D-Hop coming back.
Absolutely.
I know we didn't really touch on the Eagles one and the Seahawks one too much, but Eagles, I still think they're a little bit away. They're a team that's getting better, but we should handle business there. And the Seahawks, we should sweep the fuck out of them this year.
Yeah.
We should literally beat the brakes off of that team without batting an eye, because that's what you have 100%. To do if you want to be a team that is taking that next step and continuing the upwards trajectory that this team has been doing the past 4 years. You have to beat the brakes off of teams like that, like the Seattle Seahawks, that are in transition, trying to figure out the next steps to go with their franchise. You got to take no mercy on them, especially with what they've done with Russell Wilson to this team the past decade.
Oh, yeah.
You got to start imposing your will and really getting out that frustration of a decade's worth of losing out to them. And I know that we would go to Seattle and win those games a lot, which is great. We have a good record against them, a decent record, I'd say, against those Russell Wilson-led teams. But those Seattle teams had a lot better success in the postseason than we did, and that should matter more than the head-to-head matchups ever do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I care about successful postseason success more than do I have a better record over Seattle in the past 10 years than not, because they were always there pushing to play in NFC championship games and be there at the end of seasons, really fighting for a Lombardi. So I don't give a shit if you beat them in Seattle that one year, especially if you finish 5-11, don't sniff the playoffs. So this is the year we gotta beat the brakes off of these fools, man.
Yeah, we have to send a message to more broadly the rest of the league, but really the NFC West and the Seahawks, that it's our turn. You know, you guys, like you said, you guys have been coming in here with Russell Wilson, battling us, and we've taken some from him, but more so I remember specifically, what was it, the 52-0 game?
Oh my gosh.
You know, we need to hand them one of those types of games.
Yeah,
that would be great to do this season. But yeah, kind of working my way back on this list real quick. I do think that it's going to be electric when Hop comes back week 7. So I'm going to put a win there I think it should be, we start 0-3, but we figure some shit out. So maybe we look good against the Rams, but we come up short, and then we come out to Carolina like we got to get a fucking win. We are not going to start 0-4. So I'm going to say they're going to beat Carolina. They're going to beat the Eagles. They're going to beat the Seahawks. So we'll be 500 when D-Hop comes back, and then take it over. Oh, wow, it's on Prime Video. That's interesting.
And that's all you can ask for, right? You don't have your primary weapon. If you can scratch out a 500 record by the time you get him back, and other guys are starting to click a little bit more, everybody's kind of figuring out their lane. And if you can add a piece like that, I mean, all you're going to do is propel your team. So this Vikings game is one of those that I could see the way that we won last year, and that missed field goal at basically the end of the game. I could see karma coming back around and some craziness happen where they sneak that one out as well. But then you have two great opportunities following with NFC West opponents to maybe start putting yourself in a position to win the division. Obviously, you'd have to see where the Rams are sitting and if they're continuing their success that they had last year.
Right.
But that's going to be the stretch that really shows what kind of team you are. And it sucks to say that, right? Because the Cardinals were 8-1, 9-1 at this point last year.
Right.
And then the last 6 weeks is where they crumbled. But you got to get there, and then you got to start that final third of the season, push yourself up a little bit more and have a strong showing to the end of the season to give yourself momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Finishing strong for this team is going to be huge. I think through the last couple of seasons, like you said, we've seen with Cliff falling off. I don't want to say Cliff because it's the whole team. Obviously, it's a big roster, but starting out strong and then falling off. So if we're starting out 3-3, that's not a strong start that we've seen in the past couple of years. So that even puts more emphasis on our need to have a better second half of the season. And I think you're right. I think the Vikings game could be a toss-up. That's a very interesting team. They got some pieces, right? It's going to depend on their health and that time of year. Luckily, they play inside. Late October in Minnesota is probably getting a little chilly, but not too bad. But they play inside, so it doesn't matter anyway. I think they could win that one again. So then you're looking at potentially, what do we say, 3-3? So then they could be 6-3 by the time we see the Rams next in LA. And if you got momentum of losing 3 and then winning 6 straight, you could go into LA with a lot of momentum and possibly, I don't want to say steal one, but I think it's not out of the realm of possibility. And then you're looking at being 7-3. You're either 7-3 or 6-4. And 6-4, while not the greatest position to be in, you can still let's see, can they finish it out? Because we get to week 11 and we haven't even played San Francisco once, and that's the Mexico City game in our first meeting.
I think that's one of the craziest scheduling debacles that I've seen in a long time. I understand that the NFL is trying to grow the game and get it into different markets, right? Because it's becoming an international game, and you want to cater to some of those that are going to be more successful. Having the Niners and the Cardinals are the 2 perfect teams to play in Mexico City. But how do you put them on the Monday night game and then not give the team the bye week in week 12 is absolutely blasphemous to me. So you're telling me that this team has to go and travel out of country. I know Mexico is not that far for us, but it's still, there's just a lot of different protocols that takes going to a different country, especially Mexico, and you're going to be bringing trucks and charters and equipment and all the different moving parts that go with that. And then you got to come back and then play on a short week against the Los Angeles Chargers team that's only going to be better from last year as well. Weren't they a playoff team? Or just missed it, right? Or they were, right? Justin Herbert is almost putting himself in the top A tier of quarterbacks in the National Football League. I don't understand how that fucking was messed up that bad. How do you give them a short week coming out of country? How is the bye week not week 12 and then we play the Chargers week 13? I don't get it. But hey, hopefully that by that point of the season, the team is really going to be clicking on all cylinders and trying to figure out things for themselves and have things really settled down to the point where they understand, hey, let's go. Let's handle business against San Francisco. Maybe Trey Lance is playing. He's going through his growing pains as a new starting quarterback. We can handle business there and then come for a dogfight against the Chargers. And then you get your week off to reset, refocus, and recover that body from all the travel and the beat downs that you've taken for the past 3 months. And then you can finish that second half of the season strong. But the one thing that I get worried about with that too is, okay, maybe the players see that short week and they can taste the off week coming back from Mexico, and then they don't show up for that game against the Chargers. They get boat raced. And that's a worry that I have for sure on that game.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's concerning because you can look at it like they're thinking, it's all West Coast. They're going to be on the West Coast pretty much this whole time at home, then California, but Mexico City, it's no joke. Like when you said that, I thought about it. Mexico City and Stadium Azteca is in like southern Mexico. It's a pretty good drive. So I pulled it up here real quick on my phone. It's a good 1,500 miles. It shows that if you took your car from my house to the stadium, the fastest route you would have to do a day, and so 26 hours straight drive from here to the stadium. And so flying, even that's got to be a pretty good flight.
That's still, and you're almost thinking about like obviously not cross country, but it's almost like a travel from here to Chicago, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good distance, and then have to come back on a short week and play one of the better teams in the NFL. Probably one of the best teams.
It's tough.
I mean, that division for them is going to be ridiculous, man.
It is. It is. Yeah, like you say, looking at with Trey Lance, and there are a lot of questions going on with that team, but they still have Kittle. I think they still have Debo Samuel. I don't think they've traded him yet. But
No, I think he's finally back. I think he finally showed up to training camp.
Oh, he did? Well, he should. Young guys, honor your contract, play hard, move on.
He's gonna get his money, man. He's gonna get his money.
Yeah, he is. So I think, it could be interesting. It's all I'm a true believer in momentum, but also there's so many like we can look. Any of these teams could look totally different by this point in the season because injuries. There's death, taxes, and a player on your favorite team is going to get injured in the NFL season. Maybe not the best player, but there's going to be any team, every team. I would love to see a stat or if any team's ever gone a full season without an injury. And I mean like an injury where a player misses a game or more, or,
right.
Because it happens to every team. It happens every season. It's one of the most physical, if not the most physical sport we play in the world. In this country, especially. I mean, if anyone might be, UFC is so physical. Yeah, because you're literally punching them in the face. But like that's something completely different. I think this schedule looks pretty taxing when you consider what a bloodbath, like this is going to be a brawl here. And then I don't know what the travel plans look like, but you got, I'd imagine some added stress and anxiety of traveling to a foreign country, what the security is going to look like, what the arrangement's going to look like, how much preparation you're going to be able to do. Because instead of, being at home or being on the road and having your practice facility, the day before, you're in a completely foreign country and whatever types of facilities and time you get at Stadium Azteca. Last time they played there, they were in a fucking cage, Mike. It was a cage match. Do you remember that? I don't know if it was the Cardinals. It was Derek Carr. Let me try and pull this up real quick. I'm gonna drop this down. But yeah, let me try and pull this up because it was a literal cage match last time.
Around the stadium?
Around the field.
What in the world?
Like within the stadium, there was like a cage. It was like a WWE cage match. Oh, let me see this.
That's honestly awesome, though. That's crazy.
Right?
I couldn't imagine going to that big of a stadium and having to watch a game on a football field through a cage. Like, that is way too big.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be sitting in the upper deck trying to freaking squint through these bars, trying to figure out who's, like, lined up on the left side.
You're like, what's going on?
Impossible, man.
There's got to be something around. Because it was, like, straight up like a chain link fence. Raiders, Mexico City fence. But then there was that other incident of Derek Carr taking the lasers to the eyes.
Oh yeah, I feel like that's been happening a lot more.
Oh, are they doing that even here? Yeah, I wouldn't expect that to be a specific problem in what am I saying? Offensive structure. Am I fucking crazy? I swear to God, Mike, there was a whole ass cage around the field. I don't know why I can't find. This one's the closest thing I can find. It's not quite what I remember seeing when it happened, but this shows a pretty rough view of the game.
Okay.
You can see there's barbed wire right here, and then just like the shittiest chicken wire fence. But I think it might be around the perimeter here. So I thought it was straight up around the field, but I think it's around like the track and grass area. I think they just had a fence up around there.
Just to make sure nobody jumped onto the field or anything.
Yeah, no field runners. I'm sure the NFL takes out extra insurance, and I don't know if they get a bonus to go and do these games, but I don't know. Obviously, Mexico City, that's like, it's not not Puerto Rico. It's not Puerto Penasco. It's not Rocky Point. It's a well developed area. It's just as good as a lot of cities in America. From what I've seen from pictures, Mexico City looks beautiful. Honestly, it's a nice city. Like you said, it's a massive stadium. They play, I would assume soccer matches there, and those open air soccer stadiums are always crazy. So, but I would be anxious. You're going to anytime you're going to a foreign country. I mean, if you're not someone who is accustomed to that or not traveling, not a world traveler. I mean, I expect a lot of these NFL guys with the amount of money they have probably have traveled the world, but you hear a lot of things on the news about Mexico. That's all I'm trying to say is that, you see all these cartel blood money stuff, and I would be a little nervous, especially if you're a well-established person, you're a face, you could be worth a lot of money if someone kidnapped you. But that maybe I've seen too many movies.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, playing in Mexico City, it's not like going to London. Like the teams like the Jaguars go to London every single year.
The London
It's definitely a different environment. It's going to be interesting. I feel like we were supposed to go a couple of years ago, but it might have been kind of right around the COVID outbreak, so they canceled it. I might be wrong on that, but the Cardinals always find themselves being that team that goes to Mexico, I feel, when that happens. But yeah, they got to handle that business. 49ers should be a super easy team to handle. I feel like this year we should get the season sweep on them again. Yep. And hopefully you can handle business with the Chargers. But man, after that bye week, I don't want to spend a crazy amount of time on this because I do want to kind of get your final viewpoints on what some of Kyler's teammates have been saying about him, sticking up for him, and before we call it a night. But this schedule, man, I'd love to see the strength of schedule where we're at. It has to be a top 5. I mean, because to finish out the season, I know you have the Falcons and the Niners for your last 2 weeks, but this is another 3-game stretch right here with some of the best teams in the NFL. The Denver Broncos are only going to be better bringing in Russell Wilson. It's going to be your first time facing him outside of a Seattle Seahawks uniform. The New England Patriots, Mac Jones is only getting better. They're going to be an up-and-coming team. Bill Belichick always seems to find a way for his teams to be competent and, pressuring within playoff runs. And you're going to have to play Tom Brady on Christmas Day. And at least that one's at home, so that'll be nice.
Oh, that is good.
Hopefully we can. I was about to say, hopefully we can shut Bruce Arians up, but I think he's already been shut up by Tom Brady since he's come back. So that'll be a nice tough stretch to really see what this team is measured before going into the playoffs and see if we can really get things kick-started and finished the way that we want compared to the past couple of seasons.
So all in all, though, do you project a winning season? Is it your expectation that with this roster and with this schedule we're looking at, that you can write the Cardinals into the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, my expectation is a minimum of 11 wins from this team. Obviously, things break down. I know, Chris, you were talking about earlier. It's not if, it's when you'll have a major piece that gets hurt for your team. Right. So it's how, who stays healthiest the best, who has guys step up, and, who can really put themselves in prime position going into the playoffs. But this is a minimum 11-win team to me with the pieces that you're added. With the other thing you have to think about, too, is, DeAndre Hopkins misses the first 6 weeks. But what has happened with him the past couple of seasons? It's almost been kind of like a Chris Paul situation. Towards the back half, he's been hurt. Maybe that extra time off to start the season has him well rested by the time he comes back, and he can finish off the campaign strong and be ready to go when it's playoff time. So, this team, dude, it's I know we've already kind of talked about what we need out of them and what are the expectations, but I have to get a playoff win this year. I have to be getting close to an NFC Championship game because that's a trajectory that you're on. That's where you have to be. Mm-hmm. And if not, you have to start making changes. I know that they've signed Steve Keim to an extension. They did the same with Cliff too, right?
I believe so.
They gave him some extra time as well. And I'd say deservedly so for Cliff because, progress is progress. That's what you want, right? I would reward progress. Obviously, it sucks the way that we finished the last couple of seasons. Steve Keim is a whole other deal, and what we can talk about. We could do a whole podcast just about Steve Keim.
Oh man,
but
we
we
could
won't
break
do
down
that
some
today.
of his best.
But you got to start thinking about, okay, if you're not following the path, then what are the moves that you have to make? So,
yeah, and I think there are a lot of good questions that are going to have to be asked, and and only time will tell. And I think some of these questions we could ask to this guy right here, an hour and 5 minutes into our live broadcast. Better late than never. Cody,
oh my
Tallman.
goodness,
Tallman.
What up, no?
What's going on, man?
How are you doing, sir?
Sorry,
You vaping?
I was vaping, yeah. So my bad. I was laying down.
With the Coors Light. That's all you had to say. You took a nice
laying down with the Coors Light.
Yeah. So I made it though. I apologize. You guys, I was telling you, I was like, this is late, dude. This is fucking late.
Better late than never.
Yeah. What was the question though?
The grind doesn't stop, man.
No, we were just talking about a lot of different stuff. We were kind of going through the schedule here. I'm gonna pull it back up in a second. But
schedule's
so
bad.
yeah, we will have some. Yeah, no, we're gonna have some questions for you. There was one portion because
go ahead.
We were going through this real quick, Mike. It did show that Cliff and Keim are both signed through 2027.
2027.
Yeah,
My goodness.
27. So it's 5-year extensions for both of them. That's fucking wild. So they're all in.
I'm okay
on these guys.
Are you guys upset with that?
No.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, I like it.
I'm okay with signing Cliff to that extension because they've shown progress since he's been here.
I like Keim.
I don't like Keim.
Keim's the man.
I mean, we're getting to the point where Keim's track record.
He's butt buddies with Bidwell. Come on.
I know. That's why that's why he's still sticking around.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he didn't get the boot a couple of different times.
Oh man,
I'm surprised he didn't get the boot with Steve Wilkes. To be honest with you,
his job was on the line when he drafted Kyler, and Kyler he won Rookie of the Year. He did all that shit, so that's why his ass was saved by Kyler. So,
isn't that same conversation coming back to the forefront with Kyler not signing and like almost holding out and whatnot?
Well, no, it's not coming. No,
no,
because they're gonna sign him, right? We all know that he's gonna get signed. He's gonna get a deal before the fucking season starts.
Why is it not done yet, though?
Yeah, but it's gonna happen though. It's gonna happen though.
I understand, but how come this is like what are we holding out for now? Like, why are people dragging their feet? Why isn't this just being done?
Because quarterbacks don't get signed to a deal before the draft fucking starts. It happens.
The draft's over.
No,
the
I'm
draft's
saying
over.
I'm talking about when his agent sent out that letter. So like, you don't get your deal before the draft happens, man. You know?
Do you think
he's going to get signed? He's going to get his deal in the summer.
The problem I have with it is that they gave Keim and Cliff a 5-year extension, and Cliff more than Keim. That extension already tells Kyler's agent they're all in on Kyler. You take away your leverage in the negotiation process because his agent is sitting there going, well, you just signed Cliff to 5 years. You're going to bring in another quarterback? No, the fuck you're not. You're going to keep Kyler, and we know you're going to keep Kyler.
Well, Chris,
so pay us what we want.
You know what's funny is Cliff and Kyler have the same agent.
I know that. Mike doesn't have a problem with it. I think it's a little sketch, but I mean, I'm not saying it's against the rules or unethical or anything, but I just think it's like there's obviously a lot of insider knowledge being passed back and forth.
Someone has said something to them. Okay, somebody from inside of the organization, they have said something to Kyler and his agent. He knows he's getting paid.
Is it a timing thing? Because I haven't seen one explanation about if this is because of like if you do it at a certain time in the season, it has these kind of implications, tax or otherwise. Because if you're gonna pay Kyler, just fucking pay Kyler. Quit dicking around and pussyfooting around and fucking pay the guy.
That's how I've thought too. I've thought the same thing about that. just okay. Well, if you're gonna pay him, just pay him then already.
Yeah.
Like,
What are you waiting for?
Quit creating this fucking big distraction and making us fucking be on the center of ESPN talking about how Kyle, oh, he didn't show up to fucking non-voluntary fucking practice. Whatever, doesn't matter. So he's gonna get paid. We all know he's gonna get paid. And what's funny is I don't like it. I don't think he should get paid.
Well, listen. So I'm a big optics guy, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say whether he should or shouldn't get paid because obviously right now I think he's a top 20 quarterback in the league. So we got to work with what we got. When you gave up Josh Rosen, not saying Josh Rosen would be the quarterback. What?
It's only 32 teams. Of course, it's top 20.
Yeah, and there's 12 teams that wish they had Kyler Murray.
He's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
There's a lot of teams
probably a top 10 quarterback. Yeah. But my point being is that if you knew you were going to sign him, I'm a big optics guy. Before you hopped on, Cody, I was talking about these guys playing on Twitch, and the optics of that coming off of a loss when Kyler Murray loses, takes his shower or doesn't. Maybe he just does a little spritz with the Axe body spray and then he's on Twitch. I'm not going to dive into that conversation again, but I'm an optics guy. So the optics of giving the GM and the coach an extension, but not the player when you're out here you're saying, oh, we're all in on Kyler. Kyler's our guy, but we're not going to pay it. It just doesn't, as a fan, it doesn't make sense. So I need them to explain it to me either through a proxy like John Gambadoro, leak some information like, oh, the Cardinals are waiting for the 2022 season to officially start and they're going to do it, or they're going to do it after the new year in January or something. If you can even extend someone at that time of the year, I don't even know. But I need an explanation as to why it hasn't gotten done yet.
I mean, we're literally 2 months away from the first preseason game.
I don't know why it hasn't happened yet.
I'm yelling at Cody like he has the answers.
Yeah, well, I don't have
Cody, figure it out.
Cody, figure it out.
Yeah, well, all right. Let me call Gambo.
Do it.
No, I don't.
Get him on the line.
We don't have the answer, but that's the beautiful thing about it is we don't have the answer. So, do we need the answer? We all know what's going to happen. They're going to fucking pay him, and he's going to sit there and hopefully he doesn't suck ass, but they're going to pay him. We all know he's getting paid. All right. When was the last time that we had a quarterback like this for the Cardinals? It's been a very long time where we had a young quarterback who was actually good. Okay, he's good, right? He's good. Can we all agree that he's good?
He's good.
He's good.
100%.
When was the last time we had a young quarterback that was actually good? I was probably barely even fucking born, dude. The last time that we had a quarterback this good. We've always traded. We got Carson Palmer's the last time that we were good. And that was fucking that's not the same. We've never drafted somebody and had them in this good. So they're going to pay him. He's going to get paid no matter what. He's going to get paid. He's going to get whatever the fuck he wants. Unfortunately, he's going to get whatever the fuck he wants. So I guess we're going to see how it goes.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously his teammates are confident in him and think that he should get paid. Everyone from the fans to his teammates to the commentators on ESPN and Fox Sports, they all think that Kyler should get paid because, like you said, we can all agree he's good. Mike thinks he's a top 10 quarterback. I'd probably want to look at a list of quarterbacks, but off the top of my head, I'm willing to agree. But DJ Humphrey's here. If you don't think Kyler is the Cardinals' future, then you're a plum fool. I've never heard that before, but
wait, what did you say? Plum.
You're a plum fool.
Is that a fucking saying? What the fuck is that, DJ?
Where is he from? Like Georgia? It might be a southern thing.
He played at Florida, so it's got to be.
You're plum. You're plum.
But then
okay.
You kind of got robot.
Zachary.
Yeah, you were like you were Mr. Roboto right there, Mike.
Let me take his screen off. I think he's struggling. Yeah, I think when you were sharing your screen, it made you.
Am I still spazzing out?
Yeah, you are.
Am I still spazzing out?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Did you have something else you wanted to share real quick?
Oh, no. I was just basically saying. I mean, his teammates are backing him. They're confident in him. Zach Ertz, guy who has been a All-Pro tight end. He won with Philly, right? He won a ring. He was on that team.
Was he on
I
that
believe
team?
so.
The Patriots. I
Yeah, that
mean,
wasn't that long
he's
ago.
saying that Kyler is the
With
most
Big
talented
Nick?
player he's ever been around. I mean, you
One
gotta
more time,
just sign
the
the
most
guy.
what?
He's the most talented player he's ever been around. That's what
Wow.
Zach Ertz said. So
Well,
I just don't know what we're waiting for at this point. I know that it's going to happen, but like, can't we just
he can
get
be
it
a
done? Like,
talented player.
we're already have to freaking deal with D Hop being out for 6 weeks. You know, we already have to be thinking about what the next pin to drop is. Like, why can't we just get this done?
I don't really even care about him being out. Okay, that's not even going to be an excuse. You know, yeah, like we're going to go into this season with Kyler Murray, and if this is like his make or break it, like who gives a fuck who is fucking lining up on the fucking sidelines with him, dog? Who cares? You know, like this is like if he's gonna be the guy, then be the guy. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
well,
I
when
don't,
you say
I don't
if
want
it,
that excuse last year. Last year was like, oh, well, D Hop went out and we lost every fucking game. We fucking collapsed. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. We cannot be so fucking solidified on this one particular wide receiver. A wide receiver catches the ball how many times a game? How many times does a wide receiver have the ball in their hands? Tell me. Maybe
Um,
7 times a game. Maybe
a guy,
7 times.
a guy like D Hop is getting 15 targets.
Well, yeah, he's getting
but
15
it changes the way that defenses have to play
9 times.
too,
9 times.
right?
How
It
many?
depends who's
How many
doubling,
snaps?
who's extra DBs, where do they have to go,
Yeah,
that kind of
Right.
stuff. That kind of guy
how many
changes that.
snaps are there in the game though? Like you think about how many times the ball is getting into someone's hand. We're talking about somebody that's going to have the ball in their hand maybe 9 times a game, if we're lucky. If the ball is going to be in Diop's hand
But
9 times a game.
listen
But
to
it's
what Mike's
not going
saying
to
though,
be that.
because you have to plan your defensive set as if he is going to get the ball on every single play, every single
Yeah, well,
passing
no,
play.
I want him
You
to
got to
get the
believe D
ball
Hop's going to
fucking
get the ball.
1,000 times. I want him to fucking be the quarterback. You
Right,
know?
but just
Um,
his presence on the field though, I can't help but think that if we had him for the Chiefs in this Rams game here, and even the
Well-
Raiders games, those defenses are going to have to adjust to having two top tier wide receivers on the field
Oh
at the same time.
You're right. I'm really excited to see Hollywood and Hop. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be
Oh, yeah.
really nice. It's gonna be really nice. They're gonna be really good. But what I'm saying is like, why are we so fixated on a player that's gonna have the ball in their hands maybe 9 times a game? You know, like let's worry
Because we're
about
telling
James.
you,
Let's worry about James Conner. Let's worry about fucking Kyler Murray. Let's worry about fucking how about the 3 tight ends that we have? How about the one that they just fucking wasted a second round pick on? Let's worry about that. I don't care about D Hop being out for 6 games. It doesn't matter. Like we can't use that as an excuse, right?
never.
I'm not
No, I
using
agree
it.
with that.
No, it's not going to be an excuse, and it's fine. It sucks. It sucks. Absolutely sucks. But it's not going to be an excuse that we're going to take. If we go, okay,
Well,
all right,
nobody's
here,
saying that though. We're not saying it's an
if
excuse.
we go-
It's just the
if we go
reality of the
3-3,
situation.
dude. If we go 3-3 without Hop, I'm happy. But you're
That's what we
looking at the
thought,
schedule
yeah.
right now, and the schedule's tough, dude. It's tough. It's really tough. And
They
I
need
want
to
to go
go
to that
3-3 if they want to make the playoffs. They need to go 3-3 if they're
Chiefs
going to
play
make the
us, right?
playoffs.
At home.
What was that?
The Chiefs play
It's at home, yeah.
right?
Yeah, in Arizona.
Dude, that'd be a fun game to go to.
I don't know. I think, Cody, going back to some of your comments before where we were asking, like, why isn't Kyler signed yet? I think you might have just answered that as well, where you said it shouldn't matter what's going, or you basically said this is his make or break year, right? So maybe that's what the front office is thinking as well, and why they keep dragging their feet, because they're like, oh, okay, I think I need to see what happens this year, especially if a little adversity is thrown his way. You know, is he the guy? Is he the guy who's going to elevate all the pieces around him? You know, but the unfortunate thing is they don't have that time or luxury. They have to sign him before the season starts.
Well, they have to. You're right.
It sucks.
They
have to do it.
It sucks. Well, it's kind of like the whole DA thing. It's like, well, pay DA. You know,
you have to. You absolutely have to. Because you can't let him walk away in free agency or anything like that.
Well, because you can't. The number one overall pick in the draft, just like DA. It's like you can't not get nothing from him. Like you literally have to get something out of it. You cannot sit there and not pay DA when you wasted your first overall pick on him when you could have got fucking Luka Doncic. No, you're gonna do something with him. You do a sign and trade, you get something out of it. Just like Kyler Murray. Okay, so you spent your fucking top pick on it, and then when we're talking NFL first pick is way more valuable than a fucking NBA first pick. So you're gonna sit there and say you're gonna get nothing out of the first pick on Kyler Murray? No, you are.
Yep.
You're gonna get something out of it, whether you pay him or you fucking trade him. And they're not gonna trade him. They've already came out and said we're not gonna trade Kyler Murray. So there's not this. They're gonna pay him, and he's gonna get $45 million a year, and he's gonna get a 5-year fucking $200 million fucking bullshit contract for his little tiny Yoda ass, baby ass, bitch ass. And then I mean, no, I want him to be good, okay? But I'm just saying, they're gonna pay him. Everybody knows that. You know that.
Exactly.
He's gonna get
paid. At this point, though, like I need it to be fucking done so you can start focusing on moving forward and figuring out how you're going to game plan for your first 6 weeks without possibly the best wide receiver in the fucking NFL. I don't want to hear about what's happening with Kyler Murray's contract extension. Are the two parties friends anymore? What's going on? You need to get it done so you can start figuring out how you're going to be successful those first 6 weeks before D-Hop comes back against the Saints.
Who's better than him, though?
Because if we're not ready to make a push in that third half of the season, the same way that we've faltered the past freaking 2 seasons and gone into the playoffs as lame fucking ducks, or not made the playoffs the season before last because we've absolutely fell apart. Like I can't have the extracurricular storylines going on anymore. I need these motherfuckers focused on football and figuring out what you're going to do without one of the best receivers in the NFL. Yeah, and I know you have new pieces coming in, but you just got to get it fucking done. Like, I don't understand what we're waiting for.
They do. But what I want to know is, how are we going to beat the Rams? How are we going to be better than the
Rams? Sign Kyler Murray and freaking game plan for him.
But like, I just want to know, like, we can sign Kyler Murray, but he's still going to sit there and fucking throw a little pissy fit at the end when he lost the fucking playoff game with a minute left. And sit out there and then fucking Colt McCoy's and you're like, hey, you should probably finish this game with your teammates because everyone else is finishing the game, but you're not going to. Cody, you know, like, so when is he gonna be a fucking leader? That's all I care about. I want him to be a fucking man, you know, because he's not a man right now at all. And like, it takes a lot to be a leader of men. He is not a leader of men. Ron Wolfley says it all the time. It takes a special character to be a leader of men. He is not a leader of men, and that's what scares me because he's not shown it, you know, because he's just being a child. And if he can go out there and actually be a fucking leader on this team, then maybe we have a chance to do something good. But until that happens, we're fucked. We're absolutely fucked, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I guess we can all sit here and be whatever, but like he's not shown that yet. That he can literally sit there, like, so that whole playoff game, that tells all of us exactly the type of person that he is, you know, and it's scary. It's kind of scary to see that. And should he get paid for that? No, he should not get paid for that. So I
hear you. I think you're making a lot of great points.
Yeah,
and you're right, but I want to put this all in perspective for you and tell you why you're right, but you're coming to the wrong conclusion. Kyler Murray is 24 years old.
Always right.
You are always right, Cody. I can't deny that. No, but he's only 24 years old. Always wrong? Yeah, no, you are, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. So Kyler Murray, he's 24 years old. He's going to be 25 years old. You pointed out there he's not a leader of men yet. He has a huge ego problem. When he loses, he throws a tantrum. But you put him around the guys and in the right situation, and you hope you got to invest in Kyler Murray and hope that he grows into that leader you need him to be. But there's no guarantee. But when you have the raw talent, you have to pay him.
Yeah,
And
but then you put him around some of the best players in the game. We're talking J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins.
he had a
Like,
year with Fitz.
there's so much talent on that football team that you're putting him around, and he's supposed to be the leader of that team. And we're talking about people that are established in this game. And if he couldn't pull it off, I don't know. I don't know.
But to kind of wrap it all up and why I brought this point in the first place is that you're right. He is immature. He's not a leader, and he does have an ego problem. And so when you ask me, how are we going to beat the Rams? How is signing Kyler Murray going to help us beat the Rams? It's because he'll have his head right, because he'll have his bank account and he'll have his contract under control where he can stop worrying about getting paid and getting this contract, and he can worry about the game plan and playing the game. This has to be taken care of before the season starts. If Kyler Murray and his ego don't have the contract, all hell is going to break loose, and it's just going to be a garbage, wasted season.
No, it'll happen next month. It'll happen.
It needs to happen last month. Honestly, I don't understand it.
Well, no, I'm actually kind of proud of them that they're making them wait.
Are they waiting for somebody else to get signed? Like, is there another high-profile NFL quarterback that needs to get signed this offseason that they're waiting to see?
No,
I mean, because that would make sense.
Derek Carr just got his deal Derek Carr just got his deal like 3 weeks ago. He just got paid like $180 million or something. Okay. Derek Carr just got paid.
The thing, the longer you wait, the more people are getting these record-breaking contracts and becoming the highest-paid quarterback in the league.
Well, yeah. So what's funny is, like, if they would have paid him when that letter came out, like, they probably would have saved a couple $1 million a year, because they could have signed him for like fucking $40 million flat. Now they're gonna have to pay him like 45.
45, yeah.
You know, like, he's gonna get.
And that's what I'm thinking. Look, the longer you wait, you're losing your leverage, and you're just making it harder on yourself. Mike, do you think that since they're not signing him, that there's some hesitation there that they might not extend him? Because we're all racking our brains here and can't think of any reason why it hasn't been done yet. I haven't heard any reporting on why it hasn't been done yet. So do you think there's like some lingering hesitancy or that they might not do it?
I hope not. And I don't think so at this point. I think a lot of the dust has really settled from the first time when all of the deletion of the photos had happened, and then they had to basically ask Michael Bidwell, like, hey, are you guys, like, what's the future? And he said, no shit. Yeah, like they're apart, and they probably have a lot of different things going on, especially with the in-house HBO shit and trying to figure out how that's going to work with the team as well. I don't know. I mean, maybe their whole plan, their game plan was like, okay, let's get through voluntary OTAs first. See if he shows up. Maybe see how invested he really is, and then it'll just be an easy thing to get done and kind of put those numbers where the market sits now. Mm-hmm. And Cody, you're right. They probably lost a couple of million a year.
They did. Because they wait, and that's fine. I like that they did wait, because they're not. They're not catering to him. Okay, he needs to know that he doesn't call the shots. Like, we're talking about a fucking a goddamn NFL organization that you don't call the shots. You don't tell them what to do just because you think you're hot shit. Like, that's I appreciated that part, but we all know that he's gonna get paid. They're gonna pay him. He's gonna get it, because you don't, like, we have never had this type of quarterback before, and I wish he was fucking 6'5". I wish he
Everyone
was.
Does.
Yeah, I wish he wasn't fucking 5'11".
Yeah.
I wish he wasn't shorter than me.
5'11" on his best day.
Exactly.
He's stretched out when he's strapped in.
Yeah. No, I wish he was. I wish he had more of that to him. But he's a polarizing player, and unfortunately he's all that we have at this time. So he's gonna get paid. But why they're waiting so long? I don't know why. Because we all know it's coming. They even know it's coming too. And then I just said Derek Carr just got paid. Why is it taking them so long to pay them? I don't know. But
what you said there a second ago really got me thinking that you might be onto something. Is that they want to show that Kyler's not in control of these negotiations. But
No, he's
behind the
not.
scenes, maybe Cliff and the agent are talking where they're saying, hey, meet us halfway so it still looks like we're in control. Show up to a few voluntary workouts while we're working out the contract. And then on July 10th, we're gonna lay the contract out in front of you. We'll all sit down and sign it. Maybe they have some kind of thing like that where they know, like, hey, by this date, by July whatever, by August whatever, we're all gonna have sat down. But in the meantime, we need you to meet us halfway, show you're serious, and show that this is a mutual thing and not like you have us by the balls or like we have you by the balls. Maybe it's all an optics play. Again, big optics guy. Maybe that's what it is. But again, we could do a whole show on Kyler Murray and his contract and his Twitch streams.
No, we could. Did you look at the schedule yet? Did you guys go over the schedule?
Yeah. So we were going through that, and I don't want to rehash too much of it, but I wanted to ask you, Cody, me personally, right before you hopped on, I was about to bring this up. I think this is the most crucial portion of the schedule. Coming off of the Mexico City game into a Sunday afternoon game at home, but I think it's huge that it's at home, right? Because you'll have that whole week at home to prepare, and then you go into the bye week at home and come out of the bye week at home on a Monday.
We were bad at home last year.
Yeah, and that's going to have to change for sure. But I think this is the most crucial in my opinion because it gives you the most amount of rest. This week 13 bye comes late in the season. We're going to need it. Hop will obviously still be the most fresh out of all of them, but there's going to be, like we said, like me and Mike were saying, I think it was right before you hopped on. You can always write in injuries. Every team is going to have a handful of injuries every season, whether it's a season-ending injury or a game or two, it's going to happen. So you can pretty much assure that by week 13, we're going to need that rest to maybe get some guys healthy, get our guys that are healthy, refreshed and recharged. And then going into this home stretch, it's a tough Broncos game. That's a tough Bucs game. Mike said Mac Jones is looking good and coming into his own. Even at home, I think Patriots fans travel. And like I was saying, transplant state, transplant city, there's a ton of these motherfucking New England Patriots fans out here. Even hangovers from the Tom Brady era. Same with the Bucs fans. These fan bases are the same right here.
Remember, we went to
that would be a good test coming out of the bubble.
It didn't even matter last year. We went to the last game of the season, the first 18 game ever, first week 18 ever. We went to that game, and there was a bunch of Seattle fans there. It doesn't matter. Okay, that game didn't even fucking matter. Like we were already in the fucking playoffs, you know. And then even if we lost the game or won the game, we would have won the division. The Rams already decided it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. That's bad. We have a really tough schedule. And then we can't sit here and say we can't just write off the 49ers like they're nothing either. 49ers are going to be a good team.
No, they are, yeah.
We can write off the Seahawks, that's fine. But we can't write off the Rams, write off the Niners. They're going to be a tough team to play. You know,
even with Trey Lance.
Yes. No, I bet you they keep Garoppolo. I bet you they do. But then if Seattle fucking trades and gets Mayfield, I mean, I want that to happen because I like Mayfield. I do.
There's no way that they're going to trade him now with everything that's going on with Deshaun Watson.
You're probably right.
Mayfield's going to get cut probably. Or because how does he step back into that locker room?
That would be the dumbest.
But the Seahawks are going to sign Mayfield. You guys want to take a bet?
I mean,
someone will sign him.
I could see it. But what the fuck are the Browns going to do?
You don't sit there with Lockett. No, come on. Let's talk about. You don't sit there with Lockett and fucking Metcalf, and you don't go out and try to do a splash play and get a fucking quarterback. You don't just trade. You don't just trade one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the fucking league and not do anything to fucking return it. They're gonna sign Mayfield. I know Mayfield's not top 5 quarterback, but they're gonna do something to get you. You don't waste that type of talent on that football team because they have talent on that football team. And right now it's gonna be wasted if they don't do something. If they get Mayfield, that's gonna be bad for us, which I hope they don't. But I still think we could beat them.
We'll be fine.
Yeah, we could totally beat them.
Baker Mayfield beat his ass.
Well, no, we could beat them, but like if they get Mayfield, then
it doesn't make him a better team.
Tyler Lockett, fucking DK Metcalf,
Russell Wilson.
But yeah, but
they take steps backward with Baker Mayfield still.
Probably throw a pass to fucking DK Metcalf, and he could fucking run it 50 yards.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter who's throwing the ball as long as they have someone that's actually serviceable that can do it and run the fucking system. Then it's gonna be good. They're gonna be fine, and that's what scares me. I don't like that. So, but anyway,
So, but here's another question though: is Baker Mayfield's whole relationship with the Cleveland that soured to the point where they won't hold on to him if something happens with the Deshaun Watson cases and everything like that? Like his time in Cleveland is absolutely done. Like it's non-salvageable at all.
dude,
I don't think so.
they guaranteed $230 million to Deshaun Watson. What do you mean?
I know, but if all the cases go through and he's freaking found guilty, I think they can get away scot-free, and they need somebody.
They excused him from OTAs, and they said it was a mutual agreement. They said, "Hey, Baker, we don't want you, don't show up." And he said, "Okay, I won't show up."
Okay, so their relationship is done.
Done.
Okay.
It's absolutely done.
They're gonna give him away for nothing or next to nothing. Like
because if they cut him, they get zero, zip, nada. But they're gonna
pay part of his contract.
Yeah, they're gonna trade him for probably a fucking 5th round pick just to get rid of him and get something in return.
No. Listen, yeah, exactly. Maybe if that's you're right. Okay, you're right. You're right.
So long, they're probably going to trade him for a 5th or 4th round pick.
Maybe, yeah. I think best you get is a 5th round pick because it's all aired out, right? You know that he's lost. He can't go back in that locker room. You know the Browns are in a tough spot where they have to get rid of him. So if you're a GM, you're like, I'm not giving you anything for this guy. You're lucky I'm taking his contract on. I should let you take 10 million of it while I pay the rest.
Everybody is seeing that. They know that. They know that it's so sour that like the Browns have no say in it, to where like they have no leverage. You know, like this. That's why these teams are like, yeah, cut him. We'll sign him. Cut him, because they literally have no leverage right now because they know that relationship is so sour that they're just waiting. All these teams don't want to trade for him because they know he's going to get cut ultimately, and it sucks. But
yeah, here you go, Mike. Right from fan-sided. Rumor Baker Mayfield's expected to be released by the Browns.
Wow.
So yeah, they legitimately. The only other thing I was seeing is that the Panthers might be interested. I don't know if that's through a trade, because obviously a trade would guarantee that you get him. If he goes to the free agency, any number of teams could make an offer or play at him. So if you're a team that really thinks Baker could be the guy and he's worth going to get, I mean. Right, maybe if you're a Seattle, but Seattle. I don't know if there's.
What's good for Seattle is he's already said he wants to go to Seattle. So
Sean Alexander told Seattle that he shouldn't go.
No, Baker wants to go to Seattle. So then you sit here and you go,
that's too bad.
Okay, so if he gets, it is too bad. But if he gets cut, then he gets to pick wherever the fuck he goes. And
this is Baker's blowjob face.
Man, that's probably the best. That's probably the best scenario, right? Where he could go, where he's going to get reps right away and be the number one option. Not even debatable.
All right. Would you go to Seattle?
You still have to fight with Sam Darnold. If I'm all about playing, I'm going to Seattle because I know I'm going to have that number one spot.
All day, dude. All day.
Because their guy right now is Geno Smith. Oh, good Lord, man.
Drew Lock and Geno. And Geno just had Geno just got a DUI.
Anybody else that'll go in there. Oh, wonderful.
Geno just got a DUI.
Oh, Geno got a DUI? Oh, no.
He did, yeah.
Was he sleeping at the wheel?
No, he didn't Michael Floyd it.
No. But yeah, I think to wrap up this, a lot of these conversations, I think the Cardinals do have a tough schedule ahead of them. I think, 11 wins is what we need. Will we get it? It's going to depend on how the momentum's swinging at any given point in the season.
When you look at
the first 6 games. Yeah, I'll pull it up again.
All right, sorry.
My computer can.
I'm sure you guys already talked about it. I know.
We definitely did.
I'm over here looking at my work.
Yeah,
I'm just having anxiety. I'm having anxiety looking at my work notes for tomorrow.
Well, don't do that.
Close the booklet, man.
You're working right now.
Well, I'm not. No. Nah.
All right. So do we want to just rapid fire then go through this and we'll say if it's win or loss?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So everyone keep track of their own wins. Chiefs at home.
Loss.
That's a loss. Raiders away.
Win.
Oh, that's a loss.
Mike's going win. I'm going loss. I like it. I like the difference. LA Rams at home.
Loss.
We always lose.
We always lose at home to the Rams. Week 4, Carolina Panthers in Carolina.
Win.
Dude, we haven't beat the Panthers in the past 6 times.
I will take the win, though. I'll take the win.
Going back to, I think it was 2014
I will take the win.
or 2015 with Ryan Lindley.
I will take the
The
win.
year before. Okay. All right.
All right.
I hope so too.
I'm taking the win too. I am. For the record, I think that if we start 0-3, this is a game you have to win. You cannot start 0-4. And win. Have to win it. So then going into week 5, you carry that momentum and you beat the Eagles at home.
Loss.
Yeah, I got win.
Loss against the Eagles?
Yeah.
You think Hurts and
I mean, they'll be better this year.
yeah.
You think
Loss.
Smith will take a step up?
Loss.
Okay. All right.
All right.
I got Deb.
Yeah, I got a dub there too. Week 6 in Seattle.
They're
Lumen Field. They're Lumen Field now.
I got a shit pumping.
I thought it's
shit
shit.
pumping.
Weren't they
Shit
CenturyLink
pumping.
Field before?
Yeah, it's Lumen Field now. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because CenturyLink sucks so much
Yeah.
they couldn't afford to sponsor a stadium anymore.
It's a great city, though.
Is it?
Yeah,
Love
Seattle's
it.
great. Yeah.
It's
All
one of
right,
my
I'll take your
favorites.
word for it.
Yeah. I love that
So
place.
week 7, we get D-Hop back, and we're at home against the New Orleans Saints.
I'll take the
Win.
dub. Win.
Yeah,
Big
time
win. Big win. Oh, yeah.
Huge win, dude. I feel like that would be the game to go to this year. That play's gonna be juice.
They're gonna fucking smack them.
There's some pretty big ones. I think week 4 is a big game this year. Yes, I think week 7 is definitely a big game. Week 10 will be a big game. But then after that, we're back on the road in week 8 against the Vikings. They got some pieces, but you want to win there.
I think Patrick gets his win this year, so that's a loss for me.
No, I got dubs all day. I hope he I hope he tears his ACL.
Whoa.
Damn.
Whoa.
The animosity is real.
I despise him.
That's understandable. I'm not a big Pat P fan either. You have a signed fake jersey though.
Do you guys want to buy it?
No.
We'll
auction it off later.
I also have a signed Kyler Murray football. Do you want that?
Save that and we'll auction it off.
I'll take it. I'll put it next to my DA signed basketball right here.
All right, there you go, bro.
Put it right there.
Yeah, I got some blank space
Pass it to me.
over here.
Yeah, it's over there. You can't see it on the.
Cool.
Okay, Seahawks week 9.
Seahawks week 9.
We're gonna clean them out this year.
Shit pumping.
Win.
Shit pumping win.
Yeah, we need a 52-0 win against the Seahawks this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when they beat us fucking like 60-0?
Yes, that's what we were talking about. Oh shit, I made the wrong screen. So then
We're gonna
back week 10. So we're gonna
split with the Rams.
We'll get that
I think so
one.
too.
We get one.
So too.
We get one.
Yeah.
That's a dub.
Especially depending on how healthy we are. We have D-Hop. We should be rolling by this point in the season.
Yeah. Monday night against Niners
in Mexico City.
Win.
Win.
I'll go win.
I think we win that one.
Going in, win.
I'll go win.
Perfect. So then coming back home to State Farm Stadium for week 12 against the LA Chargers.
That's the one where I think we lose because I feel like the team coming off a short week, having to travel, and then playing one of the better teams in the NFL and the AFC West.
They're too good, man. Justin Herbert's too good. We lost.
I think there'll be too many guys that can taste the bye week that they don't show up properly.
But they're too good, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're only getting better.
Wait. Bye week? We lose the bye week.
We lose the bye week somehow.
Oh, never mind. The Patriots fucking win. Fuck the Patriots.
Yeah, well, I got
this one I'm talking about. Yeah, we got to come back with a fresh after a trip.
I will shit a brick if we lose that game.
Don't underestimate Mac Jones and Bill Belichick, man. I think
Jones.
Any given Sunday,
we're gonna win that fucking game. We better win that game. I swear to God, that's the.
I know.
Game.
I agree with you. I'm writing
off
a
lose
win
every other game, but if we lose that game, I'm gonna be so fucking mad. Anyway,
I-
I have too many Patriots fans that are in my house and around me, so we have
Tune
You
into
gotta
the
get one.
episode after December 12th, and we'll see how
I'm gonna
Cody's feeling
lose-
after
I'm
that
gonna lose
game.
my
It's
shit.
gonna be so.
Dude, I remember when we played them.
It
We played them last time. It was like 4 years ago. I watched
was
that
the
game.
start of the season.
No, you were with me. We were at Doc Netty's.
Yeah,
Were you there?
me.
And we lost. We lost by that field goal at the end.
Oh yeah, yep.
That was when Larry made that crazy like falling over
that
catch.
fired, and they beat us by 3 points.
That was
like
the year.
4 years
That was
ago.
the year after we went to the NFC Championship game, and we were supposed to be great, and then we were fucking mediocre
No, that
Yeah.
was
that whole year.
You sure?
Yeah, that was the year after we made the NFC Championship game, because then
Go
we
back-
played.
Go back to schedule.
I know.
And
I'm going
Jimmy
to- I just had to pull
Garoppolo.
it.
Jimmy Garoppolo started for
No,
him because
Yeah,
I think
it
Tom
was,
Brady was
Tom
hurt.
Brady was. Yeah, he was out. Yeah, he was suspended
Or
or
he was suspended.
he was suspended. Yeah, and then we played them week 1, and they beat us at home. It was at home.
Yep.
Okay. Broncos.
So Broncos.
Oh God, that's
That's gonna be tough,
Dude,
man.
why?
In Denver.
why do we have such a
Oh,
tough
I get it.
schedule, dude? Oh,
I don't like it.
God.
I don't think we win. I don't think we
L.
win that game, man. Yeah, I don't think we win that game.
Yeah, I'm saying it.
No.
I'm writing it an L there. I mean, if
Fucking
they pull it
Russell
out,
Wilson, man.
awesome.
Russell Wilson finds a way.
Tampa Bay L.
Oh, I got dubbed, bro. I
At
think
home?
we're gonna freaking
Yeah.
let's go, man.
We can
We'll
take
win
that
on
one.
Christmas.
Guys,
Beat those
You wanna
fuckers
go to
on
that game?
Christmas.
it might be the last game that we could see Tom Brady ever play.
Christmas Day game.
Oh,
I don't know if I can
If you
swing
could
that.
get-
it is on Christmas.
If you, yeah, it's Christmas Day.
Come on, let's go.
If you
Well,
can
it's, I
get
guess,
some
Christmas
first
night.
tickets,
Yeah,
you can
You're
get
on
the
ticket
first
duty.
tickets.
Huge. That's huge.
talk to your landscapers.
Oh, that's right. All right,
Get
I'll
that-
see what,
get
I'll see,
the-
I'll see
get
what I
the
can.
inside scoop.
I'll see what I can
I
do,
like
bro.
it.
Inside scoop.
I like it. And then your reward at the end of the season, if you are doing good, I think these are dubs, right? 2 dubs.
Yeah, that's
Atlanta's done.
Cody's really worried about the 49ers, but
I am. I think we split with them too. I think we lose that game.
I feel like the only way that I would see that Week 18 being a loss is if like our position is already set, the same way that the Seahawks game happened this year, where we're already in the playoffs. We probably got guys who weren't playing, and
Yeah.
we're just worried about seeding and whatnot. So
what do you guys have then for what was your tally for their projected
Right.
schedule?
All right, I'm going 9-8.
Oof, so you're a pessimist. I got 11-6,
I
Nice.
got 12-5.
12-5.
Yeah,
So Mike's
You
I
think
got-
they're gonna
I
be?
got
You think they're gonna be 9-8, Cody?
Yeah.
9-8.
Yes,
Yikes.
sir.
You think they're gonna do that much worse this year?
Yes, 9-8. Well, they're still winning record. Come on,
Oh
Mike.
my God, dude, we were 8-1 to start last year.
We were 10-2 to start last year. See what happened with that?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying,
good
dude.
point.
Levels, progression. We have to.
I think
That's why I picked the way that I picked, because we have to be.
I think the
we
schedule's-
have to be that way.
Yeah, no, well, dude, trust me. I want to sit here and say they're gonna go fucking 16-0, 17-0, whatever. But the schedule's tough. Our team doesn't really help. D-Hop's out for 6 games, so I'm just being realistic on my expectations for them, and unfortunately, it's low, and the schedule is really, really tough. And the Niners are good. Okay, you can't sell. The Niners are good. All right, Rams are good. Obviously, the Rams won the fucking Super Bowl. And they whooped us in the fucking playoffs. And then you don't even know what the fucking Seahawks are going to do. If the Seahawks get fucking Baker Mayfield to get somebody that's even remotely serviceable at quarterback, maybe we lose that game. Maybe we lose one of the games. You know.
Yeah,
So
possible, very possible.
it's all about what. Honestly, it's all about what Kyler Murray does. So. Maybe he shows up. Maybe he's the man. Maybe he does another, first 8 games of the season. He's the fucking MVP fucking front runner. But maybe not, So I don't know. I just don't. That's why they're 9-8.
It's hard to say. Yeah.
That's why they're 9-8.
Yeah. I could see it. Like I could see 9-8. I could see 12-4. Is that correct? No, 12-5. What'd you say, Mike? Because there's 17. 12-5.
Yeah. Now there's 17 games.
The team has enough talent. I wouldn't see it the other way. I just wouldn't see it the other way that they're like 5-12 this year.
We have to go to
that deep of a digression.
We have to go to that Buccaneers game.
You got to get tickets, brother. You got to find a way. Then you got to find a way. If you find a way.
If I buy tickets, will you guys go?
Depending on pricing. Don't buy them just thinking that we're going to pay for them. That's all I'm saying.
Well, yeah.
Make sure you text us. Make sure you text us before you
don't NBA Finals me.
You know that those ticket prices were pretty good comparative to
no, it's just like $400.
This past
it
wasn't $400. It was maybe $200.
Yeah, I should have gone to that game.
It was maybe $200 because of the priority that we got with the season tickets.
Yeah, it was 400.
Some of those Game 7 tickets for this last.
No, it was like game 3 or
Series 2 was like 800 plus.
Game 2 was Game 2. All right. Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm not spending $800 to go to Game 7 in the second round.
In the second
what
round?
The fuck are you talking about?
No.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying this year. Some of those prices.
No, I'm talking last year when they were in the finals against the Bucks.
No, that's what I'm saying. I got freaking Game 1, Game 2 tickets for like $212.
Yeah, that's a steal.
That's pretty fucking good. I'd pay that in a heartbeat to go to finals game, man.
Yeah, I should.
I paid $800 to go to Game 7 of round fucking 2.
Unbelievable. Well, fellas,
these people doing out here.
Right. We can chop it up a little bit once we close the stream here, but we're creeping up on the 2-hour mark. I know Cody's got a lot more to say because he was an hour late to the party, but you'll just have to tune in to the next episode of the Heat Check podcast live. This was our first live taping. I think we're still going to do the monthly meetup. This guy will be late, of course, but that's okay. So we'll meet up probably in a couple weeks here, 3 weeks. Expect that we'll do at least one of these once a week. Probably get another roundtable going the beginning of next month or sometime. But just tune in, man. Hit that subscribe button. Find us on Facebook. Mike's managing the Twitter. Tallman is being Tallman. Follow Tallman on Instagram. Did you guys, Mike, I'll hand it over to you first. Let me hand it over to Cody first. Cody, do you have any last words on Arizona Cardinals, Arizona sports?
I do not, no. Love all you guys. You guys are the best. I'm sorry I was late. Okay, I apologize.
Better late than never.
Yeah, but like what Chris Pat said, like, subscribe, keep following, have fun. All right.
Yes,
like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. That's all you got, Mike?
No, man. I'm ready for training camp to start. I want to get out there this year, so maybe we'll do some special content for out at training camp, some stuff like that.
Oh, dude, don't tempt me with a good time.
Keep these content wheels turning, Chris. I appreciate you.
I will go.
I appreciate you, man.
You tell me when.
We're gonna get it done, baby.
You tell me to jump. I say how high. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, let's wrap this up. Thank you all. I'm going to try and play this outro. This might be a little clunky, so bear with me. But we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace.